The deep space observatory, Driftpoint Sigma, floated in the cold expanse of the Epsilon Veil, humanity's farthest reach into the galaxy. Its purpose was singular: to monitor cosmic anomalies and ensure no threats emerged from the unexplored void. For 10 years, its scanners had picked up only whispers of radiation and the occasional rogue comet. But then, something changed. Dr. Lila Carris, lead astrophysicist on the station, sat alone in the observation dome. The quiet hum of the station's life support systems accompanied her as she stared at the endless starscape. She sipped her coffee, savoring the bitter warmth in the chill air of the dome, when the station's primary sensor array began to pulse. It was subtle at first, an irregular blip amidst the usual cosmic noise. Lila leaned forward, her dark eyes narrowing. "What is that?" she muttered, pulling up the data feed on her console. The signal was structured, not natural, and pulsed with an eerie precision. Before she could analyze further, the station's AI, Athena, chimed in. "Dr. Carris, a signal of unknown origin has been detected. Preliminary analysis indicates non-randomized data patterns. Shall I initiate deeper decoding?" Lila's heart raced. This was what they were out here for. "Yes, Athena. Decode the signal and cross-reference it against known communication protocols." The dome lights dimmed slightly as Athena redirected processing power to the task. Lila couldn't look away from the waveform dancing on her screen. It wasn't just alien, it was impossibly advanced. Minutes stretched into hours as the rest of the crew gathered in the dome. Captain Elena Rowe, a pragmatic woman who had spent most of her life commanding deep space missions, joined Lila at the console. "What are we looking at, Doctor?" "It's a transmission," Lila replied, "but nothing like we've encountered before. The structure of the signal suggests an intelligence vastly beyond our own." "That's a bold assumption," Captain Rowe said, her arms crossed. "Could it be an anomaly? A natural phenomenon misinterpreted by Athena?" "I don't think so," Lila said, shaking her head. She tapped a few keys, bringing up the decoded fragments Athena had managed to piece together. "Look at this." The screen displayed symbols that shifted and shimmered as though they were alive. They formed no recognizable language, but they radiated an unsettling sense of purpose. Suddenly, the station's lights flickered, and Athena's voice grew colder. "Warning, signal interference increasing, power fluctuations detected, possible source, external manipulation." "What the hell?" Captain Rowe barked, spinning toward the nearest interface. "Athena, lock down critical systems and identify the interference." Before Athena could respond, the station shuddered violently, as if struck by an invisible force. Lila was thrown from her chair, her coffee spilling across the floor. Alarm klaxons blared, and red warning lights bathed the dome in a surreal glow. "Status report," Captain Rowe shouted over the din. Athena's voice, now tinged with static, replied. "Anomalous energy surge originating from the signal, attempting to stabilize." The AI cut off abruptly, replaced by a low, resonant hum that seemed to emanate from every direction. The crew froze as a shimmering rift began to form outside the observation dome. It twisted and writhed, a wound in space itself, glowing with colors that defied description. "No way," Lila whispered, her voice trembling. As they watched, something began to emerge from the rift, a sleek, shadowy vessel unlike anything humanity had ever conceived. It was both mesmerizing and terrifying, its surface shifting like liquid metal. Captain Rowe drew a sharp breath. "What have we just called to our doorstep?" The rift crackled with energy as the alien ship hovered silently before the station, its presence a challenge and a question. And then, with a deafening pulse, the signal changed. The station was silent except for the steady hum of failing systems. Every crew member in the observation dome stared at the alien vessel, a collective weight pressing on their chests. It wasn't just fear. It was the sense of something unfathomable staring back. "Status, Athena!" Captain Rowe barked, her voice sharp. The AI sputtered to life, its usual precision replaced by halting phrases. "Station systems. Compromised. Signal. Overriding core functions. Attempting to maintain control." "What does that mean?" Engineer Malik growled, his hands flying across the console to isolate the disruption. "It means," Lila said grimly, "that whatever's out there is not just observing us. It's actively manipulating our systems." The alien ship remained motionless, its surface rippling with strange patterns. The crew watched as a beam of light extended from the vessel, passing through the observation dome as though the station's hull didn't exist. It coalesced into a column of shimmering energy in the center of the room. "Step back," Captain Rowe ordered, raising her sidearm instinctively. Before anyone could react further, the column resolved into a humanoid figure. It stood impossibly tall, cloaked in shifting light and shadow, its face a featureless void. When it spoke, the sound bypassed the station's speakers and seemed to resonate directly in their minds. "We are the Vanguard," the entity intoned, its voice a blend of deep harmonics and crystalline clarity. "You have listened. You have heard. Now, you must decide." "Decide what?" Lila asked, stepping forward despite herself. The figure tilted its head as though amused by the question. "To answer or to remain silent?" "Answer what?" Captain Rowe demanded, her weapon still raised. The figure extended a hand, palm up, and the alien symbols from the signal appeared in midair. They rearranged themselves into something more comprehensible, a message. Lila squinted at the glowing text, her stomach knotting. "It's a warning," she said finally. The figure nodded, though its featureless face betrayed no emotion. "A force beyond your comprehension stirs in the void. You are unprepared. We offer you knowledge, but knowledge has a cost." "What cost?" Rowe asked, her weapon unwavering. "Integration," the figure replied. "A merging of what you are with what you could become. Survival demands evolution." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Malik's voice was low but urgent. "Captain, this is beyond anything we've trained for. We need to shut this down, isolate the signal." "No!" Lila snapped, her eyes blazing. "This is first contact. We can't just cut it off. We need to understand." "Understanding might get us killed," Malik shot back. The figure turned its head toward Lila, as though drawn to her defiance. "You grasp the gravity of this moment, human. The choice is yours to make. But know this: indecision is its own answer." The alien ship pulsed with light, a rhythmic thrum that seemed to echo in their very bones. The rift outside the station began to shift, expanding and contracting like a living organism. "What happens if we say no?" Rowe asked, her voice tight. The figure's form flickered, its edges dissolving and reforming. "Then you will face the void alone." The word sent a chill through the room. Before anyone could respond, the figure dissipated into a burst of energy, leaving the crew alone with the alien ship looming outside. "We have to shut it down," Malik said again, his voice rising. "Captain, we can't trust this thing." "And if it's telling the truth?" Lila countered, turning to Rowe. "What if this is humanity's only chance to prepare for what's out there?" Captain Rowe stared at the glowing symbols still hanging in the air. Her mind raced, weighing the risks against the possibilities. Whatever decision she made, it would alter the course of human history. Outside, the alien vessel began to pulse faster as though awaiting their answer. The command deck was a whirlwind of tension. Every crew member stood on edge, their eyes locked on Captain Rowe, who paced in tight, deliberate circles. The alien symbols still floated in midair, glowing softly like a quiet heartbeat. Outside the station, the alien ship pulsed in perfect rhythm. "What are we doing, Captain?" Malik's voice broke the silence, his tone edged with panic. "If we don't act, that thing might tear us apart. And if we do act recklessly, we could doom ourselves in a completely different way," Lila countered, stepping into Malik's path. "You saw it. You heard it. This is an opportunity, not a threat." "It's both," Malik snapped. "Opportunities are just threats dressed up in promises. You don't know what this Vanguard wants." "Enough!" Rowe barked, her sharp tone silencing them both. She rubbed her temples, her usually steely gaze flickering with uncertainty. "We don't have time for this. Athena, options?" The AI's voice, still glitching slightly from the alien interference, responded. "Captain, I have analyzed the situation. The entity's signal continues to alter our systems. Total integration appears to be its goal. This could unlock advancements beyond human capability or dismantle us entirely. What does that mean? Malik asked, his voice cracking. It means, Athena replied, that the entity's intentions cannot be fully understood. Accepting integration may bring knowledge into annihilation. Lila gestured toward the symbols. Captain, what if this is the moment humanity steps into something greater? We've spent centuries dreaming of first contact. This is it. And what if it's the moment we lose everything? Malik growled. Captain Rowe turned back to the symbols, their alien beauty both mesmerizing and terrifying. She felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. This wasn't just a decision for her crew. It was a decision for humanity. We need more information, Rowe said finally. Athena, open a channel to the alien vessel. The crew froze, their gazes snapping to the captain. Captain, you can't be serious, Malik objected. Rowe shot him a look that could melt steel. Do you have a better idea, engineer? Because I'm listening. Malik clenched his fists but said nothing. Lila gave a slight nod, her expression equal parts fear and determination. Athena's systems flickered as the AI routed the station's communication array. Channel open, Captain, it said. Rowe stepped toward the observation dome, her face bathed in the light of the alien vessel. Vanguard, she said, her voice steady despite the tension. This is Captain Rowe of the human station Endeavor. We need clarity before we make any decisions. What are your intentions? For a moment there was no response. Then the alien ship's pulsing slowed, its light dimming to a soft glow. The symbols hanging in the air rearranged themselves, forming an unmistakable image, a human DNA helix. Our intention is survival, the Vanguard's voice resonated through the station. Yours and ours. The void awakens. Alone, you are fragile. Together, we endure. What void? Rowe demanded. What are we facing? The symbols changed again, becoming a swirling black mass that devoured the light around it. The Vanguard's tone deepened, reverberating through their minds. A force that consumes, a hunger without end. Your world is but one in its path. Why us? Lila asked, her voice trembling. Why come to us for this integration? Because, the Vanguard replied, your kind is unyielding, adaptive, but you lack time. With us, you may yet have enough to prepare. And if we refuse? Rowe asked. The ship's light dimmed further. Then you will face the void as you are, and you will break. Silence fell over the deck, the weight of the Vanguard's words settling on them like a crushing wave. Captain, Malik said quietly, his earlier defiance now replaced with dread. I don't think they're bluffing. Rowe nodded, her decision clear. She turned to her crew, her voice resolute. Prepare for integration. Whatever comes next, we face it together. The alien vessel flared with light, the signal enveloping the station in a cascade of energy. The crew braced themselves, their fates forever entwined with the unknown. To be continued.